Hey guys, how you doing? This is Art. By the time you're watching this, I already had my surgery and I'm recuperating, and I just wanted to throw this video out there just for the hell of it. Hope you had a good week. Hope you have a better day, and I hope you have a better week involved, and hopefully everything goes well to you as you should. Now, I was talking to one of my YouTube friends, Zoe and Pop, and he mentioned that someone said in a video that comic books are worthless. And I thought about it. I said, this is a very good topic. This is a very good topic to talk about. Is my hobby worthless? Is it? If it's worthless, why am I doing it? Well, so what happened was, when I was reading these books, when I was younger, my parents said to me, wow, these things might be worth money when you get older. And this was in the 80s. So I was thinking, I'm reading books. I'm reading these comic books. These might be worth money. So basically, say for example, oh, here we go. That's another example. This book right here, this might be worth some money 30 years from now. Now, this book is about $5, $3.90, $4.99, because it's a variant. And I don't know which variant this is. But let's say, for example, I picked this off the shelf, so it's a $5 variant. Okay, fine. Maybe in 20 years, this might be worth $10. Maybe. So I got it. So I have potentially a $10 comic book for the next 20 years. So basically, when I'm in my deathbed, this book may be worth about $40. Maybe. Don't know. But anyway, so here's the thing. So here's the problem. So what happened was, ouch. Oh, dang it. Sorry, stepped on something. Carpet monster, of course. So what happened was, back in the 90s, everybody started reading comic books because it was a big boom. And it's like, wow. All of a sudden, people who you never thought about reading comics are reading comic books. Especially when Todd McFarlane did Spider-Man #1, it sold over 1 million copies. X-Men, Jim Lee did X-Men #1. It sold so many. It sold like what, 1 to 5 million copies. I mean, good Lord. I mean, I was like, whoa. I mean, everybody was buying multiples. I bought multiples of every book. I bought multiples of Spider-Man #1. I bought multiples of X-Men #1. Even made it to where you could do the gate cover. I bought all that. Why? Because I said, oh my gosh, this is going to be worth money. Woo! I'm in my 20s right now. Oh my God, when I turn 50, this thing will be worth money. Yeah! That's what everybody else thought too. The death of Superman, guess what? When the news outlets announced the death of Superman, people bought that comic out. That comic was sold out before it hit stores. You had to get the third or fourth printing of it. And that sometimes kind of worth a little bit of money. I mean, it generates so much money. Nightfall, the breaking of Batman's back, generated money. Even the movie. I mean, all this stuff. And then what happened was, people got smart. If you sell 1 million books, let's say this book right here sold 1 million books. This book becomes technically worthless. If they only made 100, this book might jump up in value. The lower the print run, the higher the value. For example, G.I. Joe. One of my goals was to get from issue 1 to issue 155. The funny thing is, after issue 100, it became a super low print run. So those jumped up in prices. And I was like, argh! So when the Kickstarter came out, get everything plus a special mission for $300. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Or like Kite Man in the Ivy. Hell yeah! But anyway, so and the thing is that everybody had all these comics that's worth nothing. And I'm sitting right here, I was like, damn. I'm a comic book collector. I jumped on the hype train. Why? Because certain books are worth money. But then again, those books was made in the 1930s. Like, for example, Amazing Fantasy 15 was made in the 60s. Very few people have that book today. There's not a lot of those today. A lot of them got destroyed. Especially, like, for example, a lot of the Detective Comics 39. There's not that many out today because a lot of things got destroyed. The more destruction of those books, the higher the price goes up. But anyway, so is comic books worthless? To a certain extent, yes. When it comes to money, dollar bills, ducats, funny money, in terms of that, technically comic books are technically worthless. Why? Because, like I said, this book is $5. 10 years later, it still might be $5. 20 years, it might be $5. If I ever have kids, probably not, but I might will this to my grandkids, and it still might be worth $5. They probably sell it for $1. It's worth $5. You sold it for $1. You lost whatever. But anyway, so here's the question. But certain books are worth money. The question is, which ones? Well, let's find out. Let's take a peek. So right here we have the facsimile of Hulk 181, a reprint, so to speak, as they say. Now, I have an original 180. I do. No cover to it. There's no cover to it, so it's not that worth. So it's not worth that much. And what happens? The reason why with Hulk 181, they said this is the debut of Wolverine, but he showed up on the last panel of 180. Is that the? So are they talking about full debuts or just a little cameo? Same thing with Gambit. His cameo was in it annual number 9 of X-Men or annual 10 of X-Men, but then he showed up in X-Men 263. Is that the full first appearance of Gambit? I don't know. I can't tell. But say, for example, let's say you have the original Hulk 181. Now, about 20-some years ago at a Comic-Con, one of my best friends, he bought one of these for like $400. I'm like, at first I said, you gonna buy that $400? I said, then I looked, oh, it's Hulk 181. Yeah, you better buy that sucker. He did. But say, what if this was the original Hulk 181? Good question. Now, here's the funny thing is, ungraded, if this wasn't graded just like this, let's pretend this is the original Hulk 181. It's worth $1,900. You can get it for around $1,900. You can sell this book for $1,900, which is technically like 2 months of my mortgage if I had the original Hulk 181 ungraded. A low grade, $2,000 to $3,000. But if you had a high grade of this book, you're looking around $70,000. So think about this. See how good looking this book looks? Let me take this bad boy out so to kind of show it to you. If it's like this, which is almost like what they call near mint, no creases, no nothing, you're looking at around $70,000. So is comic books worthless? Most are. Some are not. Amazing Spider-Man 300 and 301, I have them ungraded and pretty much in decent condition. I haven't touched those yet because I'm waiting for one. I'm trying to see if I can get Todd McFarlane to sign those before I do all that stuff. Wow. Let's say Fantastic Four number 3. Hold on. Okay. So what happened is this is Fantastic Four number 3. Facsimile. Reprint. A mid grade of this will probably be worth about like $3,000. Now remember, this was made in the 60s. Now see, Hulk 181 was in the late 70s. Or no, 1980. This is 1980, I believe. This was made in the 60s, and this comic book in its original comic book is worth about $3,000. So is comic books worthless? I don't know. That's assuming if you have it, though. That is assuming you have it. But then again, it also depends on who's willing to buy it. Oh, sorry. Ooh. Oh, here's a good one. Avengers 196, the first appearance of Taskmaster. There's two versions. There's a jeweler's insert and there is a regular one. This is a newsstand. I don't think there's a jeweler's insert in this. But this is one book that I've been trying to get for years. And I usually been seeing around $70, $80. And I was like, no. Then what happens when the Black Widow movie came out? When they said that the Taskmaster was going to be in it, the value shot up significantly. And so basically right now, a high grade of this book. Now this, if you look real carefully, see the spine, the roll right here is not in perfect condition. In prime conditions is $1,100. It's not worth much. I got it now because after that movie, in my opinion, Black Widow was a great movie, but they nerfed the character, which caused it to drop down in value. So technically, this comic book might be worth about $60 to $70, the price I paid for it. Could be up to 90 or whatever. Could be. Who knows? Okay, here's a good one. Okay. This one right here is Deadpool #1, The Circle Chase, I believe. Yeah, The Circle Chase. This is the first Deadpool comic ever. Not issue 1, but the first comic Deadpool in a solo book. It's signed by Fabian Nixia. Oh, sorry. Fabian Nixia, the guy who wrote it. Okay? Of course, I bought this for $20. Now here's the fun thing. Basically, this book is worth about $20. Pretty much the same way I bought it. A high grade value of this is probably worth about like $200. Okay. Now, let's say for example, I get this person who I bought it from, this vendor, they're usually legit. The signatures are legit, but they're not verified. If this was verified, I could probably get maybe up to $300 for this book. So think about this. This is a very good, decent book. $20. if I got this graded and this is actually his signature, verified, this could be worth up to $300 to $400, possibly. But then again, it depends on who wants to buy it. Depends on who wants to buy it. So, you know what? Is comic books worthless? That one technically is. But I wanted a signature. So, hey, there we go. Okay. Star Wars. This is a reprint of Star Wars #1. I used to have the original one. I used to have it originally. Now what happens in decent condition, ungraded, if you have this, you're probably looking about $150. Possibly. So my copy, if I actually had the original Star Wars comic book right now, this one, the original one, if I had that, it'd probably be worth $30 tops because I read it to all hell. I read it to hell. It's beat up. Now, let's say, for example, if this was the original one and it was graded at a very high grade with this kind of quality, you're looking around $2,500. So, the original book like this is kind of worth something. Now, mind you, this came out in what, 1977 or 78? One of those two. Now, imagine that. Okay. Last book that I could tell you without digging through my stuff to kind of show you this. Yeah, I know this is a longer video. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #14. This is one of my favorite Kevin Eastman covers. And of course, when I saw him in February, he signed this one. He signed it, and he was very impressed. He was like, "Oh wow, cover's not the comic's not that beat up, even though I kind of took decent care of it. Decent. It was bad, but you know, no board until now. But this is what I got. Now, here's the funny thing is, this book right now is worth about $30. So this book came out, was it 1988 or 90? I can't remember. 1988. Sorry, 1988. Came out in 1988, the year I graduated high school, in February, right about my birthday. So this was a great birthday gift for me back in the day. So this book right here is worth about $30. Okay. Since this is in if this was in prime pristine condition, you're looking at $800. Approximately $800. Since this is a mid-grade, I would say, it's worth about $60. Now, because I got its signature, if I got it verified, this would probably be worth about close to $100. Maybe. But then again, it depends on who's willing to buy it. So the question is comic books really worthless? Is comic books worthless? For example, this book right here, technically it is worthless. But in terms of monetary value, in terms of entertainment value, it's priceless. I don't read, when I got smart, I don't read these to make money. If you're reading these, if you're doing this to make money, you got to be very savvy. There's some people who can make money off of this stuff. There's some people. Mind you, I go to a store and buy these things every week, so this person is making money. People like this, and on average, they make close to $500,000 in sales every year. Okay, think about that. A lot of these stores, a lot of those stores make a close to $500,000 of make. I'm not saying that's profit. They make about $500,000 before everything else. So there is some money to be made. There is some value into it. Value for me is to sit back. Like, for example, like I said, by the time you're watching this, I'm recuperating, so I'm reading some of these bad boys because I got nothing else to do if I'm not watching TV. But in a sense, could there be true monetary value? Possibly. Depends on what it is. But in terms of my value, it's just pure enjoyment. True, I do have some books that's worth money. Like I said, I do have Amazing Spider-Man 300 and 301. Those are pretty big, pricey books. I believe I do have 298, 97 and 98. I know I definitely have those two. I have Web of Spider-Man #1, which is more toward the Venom storyline. It's not as worth as much, but I do have Secret Wars #8, signed by Jim Shooter. That's usually worth some kind of coin, but not much. But anyway, so this is a longer video, but this is one of those kind of videos that takes a long time to do everything somewhat right. So now think about this. I also collect action figures. Are they worth money? Not really. They look nice. They just look nice on my wall until I feel like changing them. Now, some figures are worth more. Some figures are worth money. They are worth. But I don't really have any. I actually tell you the truth. You know what? Hear me out. All right. If you're a wrestling fan and you've been around in WCW, you've heard of Harlem Heat. Okay, this is the Monday Night Wars Harlem Heat. Booker T and Stevie Ray. Now, here's the funny thing: is this is a Walmart exclusive, so that means some stores had a ton of these. My stores had none. I found these recently, just by going to Walmart on a whimsy just to get some food for lunch, and I saw these. Now, the thing is, when this one showed, they were selling these things for $80 a piece. A $25 figure for $80. And the reason why, because in certain areas, the distribution sucks. So these things are worth actual money to a certain extent. But are you willing to pay $80 for it? Nope. I looked at it, I said, nope. And I found these a year later, almost 8 months later. And this right here is this is the regular one. And for some reason, I found the Chase. And these are worth a little bit more. So there is some kind of value depending upon the area you are. Some places, like for example, some of the YouTube videos I see for toys, I see these on their video. These things are stacked on their shelves. I'm like, dude, I feel like saying, hey, dude, can you grab me one? Can you grab me one or two? I'll send you the money. But in my area in Michigan, unless you can find it, they're very hard to find. And plus, things sell out pretty quickly in certain areas. So the value. So if you bought it on the secondary market, the value is kind of higher. But then again, is it worth? If it's worth anything, it depends. Like I said, these was not worth me buying this for $80 a piece. So to me, at $80 a piece, these were technically worthless to me. But for $25, awesome. So any of my collections, for example, even my Hero Cut collection, I've been trying to find a God Emperor Doom. When that first came out, that thing was worth $200. Not many people got it. People were spending money left and right. $200 for a God Emperor Doom. And I looked at it, I was like, you know, I love it, but I don't love it that much to pay $200. So basically the worth is only as worth as you want it to be. If you're willing to pay for it, then it's worth it. Right? Right. Because like one person says, you vote with your wallet. So with that being said, you know, thanks very much for listening to my ramblings. Like, comment, subscribe, leave me some words down below if you like. Let me actually take you, if you do collect the stuff, let me know what you collect, and let me know if some of the things you are is technically worth anything. But for me, what I do is not really worth anything, but it gives me a pleasing aesthetic. Very pleasing aesthetic. It's like the figures on the wall. I just like to look at them sometimes. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But other than that, why would I buy these things? Because it brings me joy. It brings me joy. And to me, that's worth a lot more than just actual money. So with that being said, thanks very much for watching one more time. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.